Hey guys, Alex here, otherwise known as Clash of Style. Welcome back to this video where we are going to be taking a look at what I reckon is the #1 Legends League strategy everyone should be using. This is absolutely tearing through bases in Legends League, and today we have got Fyzar up on the channel. He is going to be showcasing his attack, so big shout out to him for these sweet hits. But without any further ado, let's jump in and start breaking some of these attacks down. Alright, so here is the first attack that we are going to be taking a look at, and you can see if we have a quick look at that composition, he is going to be coming in with this Blizzard or the Wimp or the Super Wizard Blimp, whatever you want to call it. I've been tending to call it the Wimp, I think that's a better name, but you can see Fyzar smartly here, he brings in his Blimp all the way from this right hand side. He throws a Lava Hound out in front of it, making sure he gets maximum value. He's going to throw that invisibility spell down first, then he's going to throw down that rage spell, making sure he doesn't lose too many of those Super Wizards. Invisibility spells of course only lasting 4 seconds, so he's making sure that he's getting them down one after the other there, and look at the value he gets from them. He takes down the clan castle troops, he takes down both of those expos, he also grabs that town hall, getting so much value from them right there. He's now going to start with his SUI coming in from that left hand side of the base. And it's really important to always try and get the enemy queen and the enemy RC with your SUI or with your Blimp. And Fyzar's going to be bringing his in from this left hand side. You do of course have a couple of headhunters that potentially can catch the Eternal Tome ability of the Grand Warden, but that is always a little bit risky. So usually you want to try and catch them with your SUI if you can. But going to be bringing the king and the queen in here from that left hand side of the base, and you can see there was quite a lot of traps in this area. This is just the style of bases that people tend to run in Legends League quite a lot. These really baited outside kind of town hall areas with maybe scatter shots, inferno towers, obviously the town hall heroes, etc, etc. So he's going to bring in now his king, his queen and his RC from this left hand side, deciding to commit one of those free spells onto that single target inferno, and this SUI is getting some really nice value here for Fyzar. Unfortunately that king didn't go into the inside of the base, but that's not going to cause too many issues here. The queen's still going to be able to step up. She grabs that the eagle artillery in the center of the base. Our heroes don't last too much longer, but you can see we've already torn through nearly 50% of the base with that Blimp and with our SUI. So our LaLo doesn't really have too much to do on the back end, and Fyzar still has so many spells for this portion of the attack. Now we're going to be bringing that in from the bottom section of the base here, going to be freezing up the Inferno and the double expo in the center of the base. We do still have our king doing a little bit of work over there on that right hand side of the base, tanking for a couple of the archer towers too, which was pretty nice. We still have that Eternal Tome on the back end, which it looks like Fyzar might even end up swagging here. He decides to throw it down. He probably could have swagged it. He also swags a poison spell in there, but he well and truly crushes this base. A really good first example of how well this strategy does in Legends League, and as the last couple structures go down, he does pull in a really nice triple right there. So without any further ado, we'll jump in and we'll check out the next one. Alright, so the next one we're going to be jumping in and taking a look at comes in against Mara from Fyzar, and he again going to be coming in with this same strategy. We've got that Blimp coming in at the start, and the thing you really want to take into consideration is how much value can you get from this Blimp and where is going to be optimal to drop it down. You'll see a lot of these pro players as well as just regular people like Fyzar bringing in those Lava Hounds to tank because they can catch multiple traps. They can catch loads of those seeking air mines. You can also direct them to an air defense, just to try and get that pathing, and it's always really nice. But Fyzar gets a decent chunk of value here from his Wizard Blimp, does catch the scatter shot down there at the bottom section of the base, takes down the town hall and a good chunk of the defenses just on the outer section of the town hall compartment right there. So a really nice start to this attack. You always want to try and get as much value from your Blizzard or your Wimp, or again, whatever you want to call it, as you possibly can. Unfortunately here for Fyzar, he does drop down that poison spell pretty quickly, and the witches here on the back end do end up causing him a couple of issues. So he may potentially could have brought in that Royal Champion from in behind to catch the two witches, because now he's going to have to commit a free spell over here on that right hand side, which comes down right there. The king has pushed his way over to this left hand side, getting a decent chunk of value there, helping just create the funnel for the king, for the queen and the RC to make their way in. Ice Golem does end up going in there, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to do too much tanking. There is that RC ability, would be great to deal with this scatter shot on the top section nice and early, and down he goes right there. Nicely done from Fyzar. So both of the scatter shots are dealt with. The eagle is out there as well. Town Hall Hall having already been dealt with is always a good thing for any LaLo attack. We do still, of course, have the 3 Inferno Towers, 2 of which are multi-target Infernos. Pretty lethal for any LaLo attack, but Fyzar going to be throwing in a freeze spell right there just to start pushing these balloons in through from this left hand side of the base. The Queen going to quite nicely pick up a couple of buildings. If you cast your eyes over to that right hand side, you can see she is going to be able to sneak down an air defense. She also just takes down that Inferno Tower at the last second, but as that Queen was doing that, the Grand Warden's ability over here on that left hand side has been popped in. He is getting a really nice chunk of value, taking down defense after defense. We've got a couple of headhunters that come in there. They did help take down the enemy Queen, which was always a bonus. Haste spell is going to be used here to propel these balloons back to, onto the back end of this attack. Another one going to be dropped down right there. But again, absolute overkill coming in from Fyzar, smashing through this base. No issues at all, pretty much swagging that free spell on the back end. A couple of Teslas are not going to be able to stop this army of balloons. We've got a swarm of those minions and the lava pups at the bottom section as well. So we'll just speed this one up to finish because you guys know that this base is absolutely crushed. Fyzar has been dominating in Legends League and you love to see it. So another triple on the board for him. Let's jump into the next one. Okay, so the next attack we're going to take a look at comes in here against Lynn Gert. Well, I'm guessing a German player right there. And you can see, again, a very similar style of base to that we saw in the first video, where they've got the scatter shots, we've got an Inferno Tower, we've got Expos, we've got the Town Hall, all so clumped together. And look at the value that Fyzar ends up getting here. He's going to throw down those invisibility spells. They do unfortunately actually go over the scatter shot, which means we might not quite hit them, but of course they're going to hit the Town Hall and they're going to bounce back, which doesn't end up being too much of an issue. And the value Fyzar gets here is just absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately, he doesn't quite take down that enemy Queen, but she is on low health. But this base is already crushed before Fyzar has really done too much. You got 15%. And all of those pretty much were defenses from those Super Wizards. So getting some really nice value in this initial charge into the base. In this attack, we'll focus a little bit on Fyzar's LaLo. We'll see exactly how he executes it and how it does so well on the back end of these attacks. Is LaLo the best option, or maybe should we be looking at something else? For me, I think LaLo is still incredibly strong because the start of this just makes it so easy on the back end. Going to bring in that RC from the top section of the base as the King and Queen continue to make their way onto the outside of the base. I did get a little bit worried when I was watching this attack first time that the King might not grab the enemy Queen, but luckily here he does walk all the way around that left hand side and he is going to jump in there and snipe her down. Queen still on full health, still with her ability. I don't think she's hit any defenses quite yet. And now Fyzar actually going to be protecting that Queen a little bit by bringing in his LaLo from the top section of the base. You can see here, he is not just spamming it in a wall. He's got nice little groups of those balloons going to take down defense after defense, making sure that he gets his funnel correct as well. A couple of balloons coming in on this right hand side to keep the main core of these balloons pushing their way and sweeping through the center of the base. Again, another clump of balloons coming in from that bottom section. They maybe came in a little bit early because unfortunately they're not going to be able to grab that wizard tower, but still, you can see exactly what he's trying to do here. And because those couple of balloons down there on that right hand side didn't maybe get as much value as he was looking for, we did end up leaving 2 wizard towers in the center of the base, which ends up actually causing him a couple of issues here in the back end. Luckily, the Expo that is still up is only a ground bow, and this is probably one of Fyzar's closest attacks that he shared with me. He does drop down a haste spell right there. He also has one freeze spell left in hand, but if you cast your eyes to the abilities, that Queen of course still has her ability in hand. She actually has not taken too much damage. We're going to throw down that free spell because that is a ground Expo, so the only thing that's going to target here is that enemy Queen. We do have the wizard towers, which might do some damage here and cause some issues for our troops in the back end, but there is just enough to swarm these last couple of defenses. Down goes the wizard tower right there, and that is the third triple in this video for Fyzar. Like I said, this strategy is sensational. Alright, the next attack that we are going to be jumping in and taking a look at comes in against Amir from Western Kings. And let's try and focus in a little bit more on this blimp to kick things off. Let's see exactly where Fyzar drops his spells and how he is able to decide what value he's gonna try and get from it. So it looks like every single time Fyzar decides that grabbing the Town Hall is gonna be the key thing that he's looking to get. So he drops down that Lava Hound first. He's actually gonna freeze up the Air Sweeper and a couple of those Clan Castle troops in the middle there just to make sure that it doesn't blow his blimp off course. So he drops down the invisibility spell, then the rage spell, and then he will continue to drop down these invisibility spells one after the other. And he grabs every single one of these buildings in that town hall compartment. He also manages to take down the clan castle troops, which is perfect. It means we don't have to deal with them with our SUI here on this base. We actually have a couple of the super wizards end up making their way onto the outside of the base, help just chip down some of these outer structures, just speed along the cleanup process. Fyzar does unfortunately pop his king right into the path of that single target inferno, so he's going to lose his king really early on here. If he'd been maybe a little bit more on the ball, he could have popped that king ability nice and early, which would have been optimal here, because the single target inferno would have locked onto the little barbarians that come out of his ability, and we could have had him up for a little bit longer on the back end to tank for some of these defenses. But the RC luckily does get tanked for there by that ice golem. It ends up bursting, freezing up that scat shot, but the king obviously went down really early. Usually we would have him to tank for a little bit further through this base, but it ends up just being the queen and the RC trying to get as much value as possible. Had an invisibility spell to spare, so he decided to drop it down there. Maybe could have got a little bit more value from it, because the queen unfortunately ended up walking out and he didn't grab that multi-target inferno. But look how much of this base has been absolutely crushed by Fyzar. And again, we need to focus in on this LaLo. He's not going to spam it all in at one place. We need to make sure we create the optimal pathing for any LaLo. It's really key. So we're going to start by bringing in some LaLo, a couple of lava hounds, and then these balloons in from that right hand side. Focusing in, trying to grab that scat shot in the middle, which most certainly is the most deadly defense towards any LaLo pack, potentially other than the Giga Inferno. But they're going to take that down nice and quickly in the middle of the base. We've got plenty left up here for the back end, actually choosing to leave that Eagle Artillery to last, which was pretty interesting here. But his Eternal Tome takes him through pretty far in this base, so the Eagle Artillery shots didn't really make too much difference. We don't have too many balloons left up here on the back end, but it is enough to pull in the win here, pull in that 3-star for Fyzar. One archer tower left up over there on that left hand side. Fyzar smartly, 200 IQ, decides he's going to throw down that poison spell, but we'll just speed it up there. There's plenty left up here in the back end, including that Grand Warden, and that's another triple on the board for Fyzar. Okay, so the next one we're going to be taking a look at, again, one of these baited bases. This is about the third example of the Town Hall on the left hand side. We've got the double scatters, we've got the clan castle, the heroes. We're seeing these bases a lot in Legends League, so this strategy is perfect for it. Because all these key defenses are so clumped up, you can just get insane value from them. And you can see here, Fyzar brings it in again, Lava Hound coming out in front. He actually chooses to bring in a couple of balloons in behind him there just to take down the cannon. But down goes the blimp. And the key thing you need to think about with the blimp is don't drop it directly on the town hall, because then you're going to need to drop the invisibility spell down in the town hall, and chances are you will not be able to take it down. Fyzar does get a little bit unlucky here. He catches that tornado trap, but he's going to continue just putting down those invisibility spells, trying to get a little bit more value. Now this one here for Fyzar, you can see he didn't get the same value that he was able to achieve on some of the other attacks. He didn't grab either of the scatter shots, he didn't take down the Inferno Tower, he only really took down the Town Hall and a couple other troops. He did manage to grab the enemy queen, which I guess was a bonus, but that tornado trap really did slow him up. But he doesn't panic here, he knows what he needs to do. The left hand side here, Teslas, traps, everything is really going to stall him up, and that is a little bit of an issue. He brings in though a super wall breaker, which gives him access into that scatter shot compartment, and that queen with her last dying shot is able to take that scatter shot down. So at least we have one of them off the map here. And the funnel now having been created, we had the king and the RC coming in combination. We of course had the poison spell down for the clan castle troops. Needs to make sure he pops this RC ability. It's going to get thrown down right there. Unfortunately does miss the scatter shot, but Fyzar very smartly here, he's going to throw down a free spell on the single target Inferno, which means his royal champion can grab that scatter shot on the back end. So both scatter shots have now been dealt with, the town hall's out of the way, and now Fyzar can focus in a little bit more on his LaLo. Again, making sure our LaLo pathing is correct. We get a good chunk of balloons. Looks like he kind of dropped two groups, one with maybe 4 or 5, one with 5 or 6. And then we're going to continue dotting these balloons around the map. So you can see they're starting to split out a little bit in the middle here. Unfortunately, the couple that brought in from the left-hand side don't look like they're going to quite be able to grab that single target Inferno. One more shot and they would have been able to get it down. But this base here for Fyzar absolutely crushed. You can see it was pretty obvious where the pathing was there for the LaLo portion of this attack. They swept through this right hand side. They are going to finish up on this single target Inferno. Plenty of minions here from Fyzar, so make sure you always bring in that cleanup. You definitely don't want to miss out on that. But Fyzar continues to tear through these bases one after the other. Alright, and this is the final attack we are going to be taking a look at today, coming in from Fyzar. Again, same strategy. You can see it down there, so maybe copy that composition and give it a try yourself, because Fyzar has been dominating in Legends League, and I would love to see you guys getting the same success as him. Slightly different style of base here. We've got these sort of square symmetrical compartment bases, which sometimes you actually tend to see in Wars, maybe more than Legends League. But again, we've got that baited Town Hall section with a couple of heroes. We've got the Town Hall, we've got the Expos. Fyzar here taking a little bit of time just to prepare, deciding exactly where he's going to bring in his troops from. Throws down his Lava Hound from that right hand side of the base. That's actually going to lure the Queen over a little bit. I'm not too sure if the Blimp will end up grabbing the Queen. Nope, she steps away again. So unfortunately the chain value won't be able to get themselves onto the enemy Queen, but we still are going to be able to get a really good chunk of value. The Rage Spell still in effect for these Super Wizards. Unfortunately, it looks like the freeze effect may be down on a couple of those Wizards right there. They're going to get a couple more shots off, but they do step out of that invisibility spell, so they're not going to be able to take down too much more. Again, both of the scatter shots remain up. They were out of range of the chain value of those Super Wizards. But we're now going to bring in our SUI from this bottom section of the base, dropping down the King first, then bringing in the Ice Hound to tank for the Queen and the RC in behind, trying to clear out this whole bottom section compartment. We're not going to be able to grab either of the scatter shots here, which I always do like to try and get one of the scatter shots if possible with my SUI, or at least grab it in Fyzar's case with his Super Wizard Blimp. Either would have been great, but he's going to leave them both up here. His troops continuing to push through. You can see the King getting targeted there by the single target Inferno, so he is going to be taken down. This RC will be taken down as well by that scatter shot right there. Queen is unfortunately going to shoot on a wall, but she should be able to get through that and potentially grab this single target Inferno for us. We pop that Queen ability right there. Oh, the scatter shot, it targets the archers, which means that single target Inferno does end up staying up, and the Queen maybe doesn't quite get as much value as Fyzar was hoping for there, but he does have 3 free spells in for this attack, and he's going to throw the first one down on that scatter shot. Luckily they pass overhead and they get themselves onto the other scatter shot. And I think when he brings in his LaLo, there's only about a handful of defenses left, maybe about 6 or 7 defenses left up on this map, and he can easily smash through the back end of them. He's got 1 freeze spell, which is going to go down right there. He has a haste spell for the back end. Couple of balloons are going to be swinging in from the top section to clean out the cannon, but this is a really nice example of how dominating this strategy can be. You can see Fyzar absolutely tears through this base, no issues at all, and even though he didn't grab the scatter shots with his heroes or with the Blimp at the start, he still smashed it. So GG's, and thank you again to Fyzar for putting up all of these bases. And that is all we've got time for today in this video. Really appreciate you guys jumping in. If you did enjoy me taking a look at some of these Legends League players and what strategies they are tending to use and breaking them down a little bit, let me know in the comments. Also, big shout again to Fyzar. He was an absolute gem for letting me jump in and record his godly attacks. If you guys did enjoy this video, leave a like. As I said, let me know in the comments your thoughts and feelings. What do you want to see on this channel? Drop a little cheeky subscribe as well. Turn on those notifications, and I'll catch you guys in the next video whenever that's going to be. Peace.